was an Aboriginal child living in a rural area, had to work part-time and support your family and parents that were unemployed, and you were expected to perform at the same rate as that of your upper-class Melburnian peers and were given no special consideration or opportunity to catch up, we thought there was deep inequity in the system. The government had a moral obligation to uphold the principles of education, and failure to do so was negligence. Education wasn't simply a one-size-fits-all model. Tailoring it to suit minorities was paramount. 2 points of substantive. Firstly, the principles of education and why we had a moral obligation. Secondly, how it benefits minorities. At second, we'll be talking about, firstly, incentives and stigma. Secondly, about economics. But first, some extraneous rebuttal. I've talked a lot about how students deserve freedom of choice and how it wasn't right for them to do something against their will. We're just going to reject that because we thought that you had to do things against your will all the time, right? We thought that you weren't allowed to drive over the speed limit because it was something that was inherently dangerous, right? We thought you had to wake up at 8 a.m. in the morning to go to work because there was incentives to do so. You had to survive, you had to provide your family with an income. Education was no different. It was something that was really important. Moreover, we thought that given that these children didn't necessarily, weren't in the position to make decisions on their own behalf, that the government had to step in as a rational actor in order to ensure that these children were doing things in their best interests. Moreover, they talked a lot about how, students with special needs might feel stigmatized through having to repeat an extra year, and we thought that it was something that should be looked at a case-by-case basis because we thought that it was imperative to cater for these people's deficiencies. There was often a reason as to why they had to repeat a year because they obviously didn't have the necessary skills in comparison to their peers, and therefore by going at the same pace of their peers, they were unable to perform at the same rate. They were likely to feel isolated in the first place. More on their motivation point, we thought that by creating an incentive for students to want to work hard in school to ensure that they won't have to repeat a year in the first place, we thought that gave you motivation in a way that wasn't currently possible under the status quo. Now, 2 points of substantive. Firstly, the principles of education and why we had a moral obligation. Speaker recognised that families and children weren't themselves weren't in a position to make decisions regarding whether their child should be held back. Why? 3 reasons. Firstly, because they didn't prioritise education or give it the significance it deserves. And secondly, we thought that even if they did care, we thought they were likely to be guided by emotions and as a result of that, were going to make bad decisions. Thirdly, we thought parents were scared of the stigma that would arise because children were forced to repeat a year. So because these disadvantaged families were an irrational actor and were incapable of making the right decision, we thought that the government had a moral obligation to take action and actually uphold the principles of education. We thought there were plenty of instances where this happened in the past, such as the no jab, no pay campaign, where parents who didn't have their children vaccinated were unable to get their designated welfare benefits. In this instance, the government was able to do something in the best interests of a vulnerable member of society because they didn't want to do it themselves. That was something we were trying to replicate. So what are these principles of education that I keep talking about? We thought that it was essential for a school to provide you with a safe and controlled environment in which you could learn and derive and build the basic skills required for future life. We thought that children were developed and matured, and they needed to be provided with an academic framework and needed to be at pace with the curriculum that they were studying in order for them to become a well-functioning member of society that was capable of dealing with the pressures that were associated with it. So, how does repeating a year uphold this? We thought it fills in deficiencies and gaps in their knowledge, and as a result of this, they won't fall behind their peers, they won't feel isolated, they won't feel out of the loop, and this help this in the future. Moreover, as I told you in my intro, it creates an incentive for children to escape this negative stigma associated with repeating a year, and so because of that, they'll work harder, they'll work harder, and they'll look for pathways to avoid this. Second point of substantive, how is this going to benefit minorities? So first, let's do some quick stakeholder analysis, right? The people that we were talking about in this debate weren't people going to elite high schools like Adelaide High. It was places where there was an entrenched culture of schools and education seen as insignificant, like Aboriginal areas or rural areas with low socio-economic backgrounds. We reversed this, and we tried to reverse these social attitudes by ensuring that the children from these communities got better outcomes through ensuring that they were at pace with the curriculum that they were meant to be at. We also thought that we got a host of auxiliary benefits in these communities because once these disadvantaged people went into the workplace, they became successful and they permeated the success to their surroundings. We thought that they were able to pour back the capital and the money that they generated back into their local communities where they came from. They were able to make a difference and they were able to act as a catalyst for change. But not only that, Speaker, recognise that we also got justice for other stakeholders that weren't necessarily minorities, right? Consider someone that was diagnosed with cancer that was unable to commit to that was unable to perform their Year 12 to the best of their ability. We thought we gave justice in this instance and we gave someone that deserved the chance to repeat this year the opportunity to do so. We also thought that students with mental illnesses who were disproportionately disadvantaged got better outcomes on our side of the house because we were able to provide them with the basic skills, numeracy, literacy to enable them to flourish in the workforce. Speaker, recognise at the end of this speech that we were the only side that upheld the aims of education. We were the only side that got better outcomes for minorities. We were never, ever prouder to oppose.